Hello everyone, I'm Madoka, the presenter. This channel provides training that can be used directly in the field of nursing care. You can download the training materials this time by joining the Discord community in the description. Downloading is free, so please join us. Now let's start the training. Today's theme is a course on manners that new care workers should keep in mind. When I was a new employee, I also really worried about manners. Is this the right way to say things? Is the angle of my bow correct? I was nervous every day as I went to work. In this training, let's review the basics of manners in the care field together so that you can respond with confidence in the field. In this training, we will learn about the items shown in this slide. It's quite a lot, but don't worry. We will explain each one carefully so that you can use it in the field. In particular, we will cover a wide range of topics, from basic manners to specific communication techniques, so not only new employees but also veterans may have new realizations. Our first theme is about why manners are important in caregiving. Manners are essential for building trust with clients and their families. For example, a morning greeting can instantly brighten a client's face. When you say, "Ohayo gozaimasu," with a smile, it motivates clients to face the day positively. Using polite language makes clients feel valued and deepens trust. Good manners also improve the overall workplace atmosphere. When staff exchange greetings and use proper honorific language, keigo, it creates a positive environment. When everyone maintains good manners, it enhances staff communication and likely improves work efficiency. Next, let's look at specific etiquette rules. For bowing in care facilities, different situations require different bow depths. When passing in hallways, use a light ashaku bow, about 15 degrees. When entering rooms, use a deeper keirai bow, about 30 degrees. And for apologies, use the deepest side keirai bow, about 45 degrees. However, don't become too rigid about angles. Movements should remain natural. Regarding language, always show respect to clients and their families. Avoid using shiteageru, as it sounds condescending. Instead, use expressions like itashimasu or shimashouka. For behavior, prioritize client privacy. Always knock and say shitsureishimasu before entering rooms. When reviewing records, ensure client information remains confidential. Next, let's talk about honorific language, keigo. There are 3 types of honorific language: respectful language, humble language, and polite language. Respectful language elevates the status of the other person, with expressions like osharu and meshiagaru, and others. Humble language elevates the other person by lowering oneself, with expressions like musu and itadaku, and others. Polite language uses polite expressions like desu and masu. A common mistake is the overuse of sareru, using expressions like shokuji wo sareru or nyuyoku wo sareru can give an unnatural impression when used excessively. Instead, it's better to use appropriate respectful language like oshokuji o meshiagaru or gonyuyoku nasaru. Next, I will talk about attitudes and habits that we tend to unconsciously do. First of all, facial expressions are very important. Even when you are tired, avoid a blank expression or a frown, and try to smile as much as possible. When I was a new employee, my senior colleagues often told me, "Madoka, smile a little more." Since then, I have started to check my facial expressions in the mirror. Eye contact is also important. When talking to users, try to make eye contact. However, staring for too long can make them nervous, so try to make natural eye contact. As for posture, slouching or crossing your arms can unconsciously give off an intimidating or distrustful impression. Keep your back straight and relaxed. Next, we will talk about reporting, communicating, and consulting, which is particularly important in the field of nursing care. First, reporting is really important. For example, if there is even the slightest change in the user's physical condition, report it to your superiors or colleagues immediately. If you judge it to be no big deal, it could develop into a big problem later. Next, contacting, which is sharing information. For example, it is important to share within the team even the smallest things, such as stories you hear from the user's family or things you notice during care. And as for consulting, this means not carrying it all by yourself. If there is something you don't understand or something that is bothering you, consult with your seniors or colleagues immediately. Next, let's talk about cooperation between staff members. Care work cannot be done by one person. Teamwork is more important than anything else. For example, when transferring information, don't just relay information, but also proactively make suggestions such as, "This user responded well when I spoke to them like this," or "I think this method of assistance is safer." It is also important not to create barriers between professions. It is important for caregivers, nurses, counselors, and others to respect each other's expertise and work together to get the job done. Next, let's talk about grooming. Cleanliness is the most basic of basics in the nursing profession. In addition to taking a bath or shower every day, you should wear a clean uniform and keep your hair neatly trimmed. It is especially important to keep your nails short and clean. Long nails pose a risk of injuring the residents. Also, accessories can get in the way of work or injure the residents, so keep them to a minimum. In the past, a staff member who was assisting a resident with long nails ended up injuring them. In this way, grooming is not just a matter of appearance, but also has a bearing on safety. Next, let's talk about how to speak. The volume of your voice can be surprisingly difficult, isn't it? You might be told you're too loud, or conversely, speak louder. The appropriate volume of your voice will vary depending on the situation and the user. For example, some people don't like loud voices, while others are hard of hearing and can't hear unless you speak loudly. The important thing is to adjust the volume and tone of your voice to suit each user. The speed at which you speak is also important. If you speak too quickly, users won't be able to hear you and will feel anxious. Try to speak slowly and clearly. From here on, I will talk about actual failure cases and how to deal with them. This is very important, so I will explain it carefully. First, let's look at examples of mistakes in word choice. For instance, using してあげる, doing something for someone. While often used unconsciously, this can sound condescending and should be avoided. Another common mistake is skipping greetings when busy. Greetings are fundamental to communication. No matter how busy you are, always make sure to greet others. When I was new, I said to a client, "ご飯食べに行きましょうか?" and was corrected by my senior colleague who said, 食べに行く is incorrect. You should use 召し上がる? I learned that even casual phrases have more polite alternatives. Next, we will look at examples of mistakes in attitude. For example, you may not listen seriously to what the user has to say and instead respond absent-mindedly. This is more likely to happen when you are busy, but the user may feel that you are not listening to them properly and may develop anxiety and distrust. You may also unconsciously become arrogant towards the user, saying ちょっと待ってて in a strong tone or sighing will hurt the user. When interacting with users, it is important to always maintain a polite attitude and control your own emotions. Finally, here are some examples of failures in reporting, communication, and consultation. For example, even if you notice a change in a user's physical condition, you may decide that it's no big deal and neglect to report it. You may also forget to communicate the information to all the relevant parties, causing problems for your work. Furthermore, when a problem occurs, you may keep it to yourself and make the situation worse. Reporting, contacting, and consulting is extremely important when working in a team. No matter how trivial the matter, be sure to report, contact, and consult thoroughly, and share information with the entire team. Using these examples of mistakes as a reference, try to be mindful of etiquette in your daily work. Next, let's talk about physical contact. Physical contact has the effect of shortening the distance between you and the user and giving them a sense of security. However, physical contact that is more than necessary may actually make them feel uncomfortable. For example, when holding hands, it is important not to suddenly squeeze tightly, but to start with a light touch at first, and gradually build a relationship while watching the user's reaction. However, it is important to always get the user's consent before engaging in any physical contact. Even just asking, 手を握ってもよいですか? can put the user at ease. Next, here are some tips for becoming a good listener. The most important thing when communicating with users is to have a listening attitude. By nodding and repeating what the user says, you can convey the message that you are listening carefully to what they are saying. For example, when a user says, "My back hurts today," repeat the other person's words and convey your empathy by saying, "Your back hurts, huh? That must be tough." By listening to what the other person says and showing empathy in this way, the user will feel that you are listening carefully to what I'm saying, which will give them a sense of security. Next, let's consider some concrete examples of the kind of trouble that a breach of etiquette can cause. To repeat, using language such as shitigeru or speaking rudely can make users feel uncomfortable and damage trust. Also, even between staff members, if they do not take care to use polite language, the atmosphere in the workplace will become bad and teamwork will be weakened. Next, there are problems caused by attitude. A bad mood or unfriendly attitude will make users feel anxious and distrustful, preventing you from building a good relationship. Always try to smile and be cheerful. Also, poor personal grooming not only makes users feel uncomfortable, but it can also increase the risk of infection. Maintain a clean and well-groomed appearance and maintain a safe and hygienic environment. Care must also be taken when handling personal information. The personal information of users must be managed strictly. Conversations about users' personal information in places with a large number of people, such as hallways or elevator lobbies, are considered a violation of privacy. In addition, when writing care records, be sure to record the facts accurately and use polite language. In order to avoid these kinds of problems, it is important for each of us to always be mindful of manners and think from the user's perspective. Violating etiquette can lead not only to trouble with users, but also between staff, and can affect the reputation of the entire facility. Being careless and thinking, "this much will be okay," can sometimes lead to big trouble. Be mindful of etiquette on a daily basis and try to prevent trouble before it happens. Next, let's talk about nursing records. Nursing records are not just records of work, but records of the lives of users. They are also important documents that serve as evidence in medical and litigation situations. When writing records, it is important to record objective facts accurately and carefully. Avoid subjective expressions such as, "it looks like a circle," and use concrete expressions such as, "it was spoken of as a circle," and "it was observed to be a circle." Also, avoid abbreviations as much as possible and write the official name so that anyone can understand. Also, keep in mind that the user and their family may view the records, so try to use polite language. Next, we will discuss how to use the self-check sheet. Regular reflection is essential to improving manners. Use the self-check sheet with the items shown on this slide to reflect on your own words and actions at the end of the day. For example, by checking specific items such as, did I greet with a smile? Did I speak to the user at eye level? Did I use appropriate honorific language? You can see your strengths and areas for improvement. If it is difficult to continue every day, reflect regularly, such as once a week or once a month, within your limits. Finally, here is a summary of today's training. Manners in the nursing care field are an important foundation for building trusting relationships with users and providing high-quality services. Appropriate language and polite attitudes, as well as thorough reporting, clean grooming, daily reflection, and continuous awareness are the keys to improving manners. And I believe that if each of us is conscious of manners, the quality of services throughout the facility will improve, leading to the creation of a better environment for both users and staff. What did you think? It may be difficult to do everything perfectly right away that we talked about today. When I was a new employee, I made a lot of mistakes and got depressed many times. But if you pay attention to each one and improve little by little, you will definitely grow. You are not alone. There are many seniors and colleagues around you that you can rely on. If you are in trouble, please feel free to talk to me anytime. I hope that you can work with confidence and a smile. Let's do our best together. That's all for today's training. Please subscribe to our channel and leave a comment. Please let us know about your experiences in the field and any questions you may have in the comments section. See you in the next video. Thank you.